Welcome to Rich Conversations. This is another one of our weekly guided reflection sessions where we're going to take about 40 to 50 minutes out of our day to just simply think more intentionally about our own life. We're going to pose simple questions that through our answers, we'll be able to be more aware of ourselves and our actions and how they affect our trajectory moving forward. We want to be more precise. We want everything we do, every step we take to be intentional. In a way, within reason, right? So let's get started how we usually do, and that's 5 minutes of breathing. Breathing exercises. Starting now. So we're just doing 5 minutes of breathing. We want to sit up straight, flat, and just breathe in and breathe out. If thoughts come to mind, just simply let them pass. All right, so that was 5 minutes of breathing. Some motorcycles going by this fine evening. Now, let's open our notebooks or be readying our minds to think about these questions. If you're using a computer or something to type on, that works too. As long as we're being intentional with this time and giving effort into our answers to these questions. So the first question, of course, is what are we grateful for? Start there. There's so many things to be grateful for, of course. That it's important to, think of some, or one, a little deeper. I find that to be a common thread of people who are really down or sad or in a malaise, is that they don't dedicate enough time or any time to think or to notice what is beautiful in the world, what is going right in their lives. Got all these mosquitoes around. They're around, they're buzzing around my ears. I can hear them, but they're not biting me. I just got out of the shower after a long day of staring at a computer screen. I just feel so gross. So I put some cologne on. Izzy Miyake. Knew it dizzy. I think that's what it is. It repels the mosquitoes from biting. But they are kind of just taunting me. They're flying by my ear and I can hear the buzzing. Yeah, cologne. That'll be our next question. Do you wear a scent, a perfume, a cologne? Why did you choose that one? It could be something your parents wore or your grandparents, and it's kind of been a family kind of thing. My friend Sammy Sharif, he wears the same cologne as his dad and his grandfather, and who are of Egyptian descent, and so it's kind of this Egyptian cologne. For me, I did this thing called Scentbird. So they give you, it's like $11 a month, and they give you a sample of colognes. And you can choose your variables. And I chose autumn or fall, something like that. Woody, date night, and trendsetter. Izzy Miyake. Izzy Miyake knew it dizzy. I got one sample and I'm like, sold. I like this one. So I just started getting this one. Very fresh, very zestful. It's not your classic one. So what's something that you wear, or if you don't, why do you choose not to have a scent of some sort? And if you don't do that, maybe there's something else that you do for yourself to, feel great, come alive in a way. My friend that cuts my hair, she's been cutting my hair for like 10 years. I need to get a haircut. I'm getting one next week. And I asked her what the best scent was that she smelled from clients. And she said Tom Ford vanilla tobacco. So I looked it up. It's like $3.50 a bottle. And so whenever I go downtown and I have to meet up with an individual per se, I'll stop into Macy's and spray some of the Tom Ford vanilla tobacco on. It's not my scent though. It's too classic. It's too kind of leathery and distinguished. It's like an old man scent, in my opinion. I want something fresh, re-energizing. And this is something too, kind of something on my mind is consumption in America, consumption discipline, and the importance of being intentional with how we want to live our life so that we're not making rash decisions when it comes to buying things or doing things. We want to be kind of precise so we're not wasteful. And not discarding things so casually, you know? Yeah, I feel good. Thanks for being here today. It feels kind of social right now. I've been just staring at a computer screen a lot this week, and I don't like that. I feel gross. I feel icky. Ideally, I would spend very minimal time looking at a computer screen throughout the week. It's just kind of the nature of some of the things I'm doing right now. My eyes feel like and I'm not on it as much as I feel like other people are. Yeah, just had to cleanse myself. So it's good to be here with you. Good company. That's important, being social. And if this helps us feel more social, more engaged with other people, I think that's a good thing. Something I've been adjusting from is I was flipping tires here on the farm, and I've been doing it all summer, no problems. And 2 Mondays ago, it was at night, I was just trying to get this workout in, kind of rushed it, and I think my form was bad, and in fact, I could see my shadow at one point. My back was kind of like hunched a little bit, but it was fine. I didn't have any pain. The next day, I woke up in quite a deal of pain, I would say. So then I chose to rest throughout the week. Well, then Sunday, I feel pretty good. So I'm out playing basketball, but then the ball gets stuck between the backboard and the rim, which never happens on this hoop. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to get it out. And there was this loose barn board, only about like this. So I was going to jump and then poke it out. So I jumped, and instead of hitting the ball, I hit the rim, and it sent this like vibration or shock wave down my body and disabled me. I did jump again, and I got it the second time, but I was just like, whoa. So then it was aching, and I traveled to Chicago this last week, and I was having a work session with Ken. We were working on The Boy and the Rocket Ship, and we're in this booth, and to get out of the booth, I'm like really touch and go with it, taking my time, because any slight movement just created this sharp pain, and the mornings have been really bad. And then Wednesday morning was, I could barely walk. So it has me thinking more in terms of gratitude for health Because when you're experiencing such intense pain, and with like every movement, all you want back is health. All you want is to feel normal again. So let's think about that in this next question. Is there a time in your life where you experienced this, where your health was removed, compromised for a while, and did you have that feeling about wanting to just feel healthy, where all the other things in life just didn't really matter? You just wanted to feel healthy again. You wanted to be able to just walk and not experience pain. What is a time in your life where you've experienced that, or if you haven't quite yet, let's put ourselves in that frame of mind and be grateful for health. So let's write about that. How did we feel? What was happening? And how did it make us more grateful for health? And moving forward, I thought I heard a big animal. Moving forward, how can we keep that in mind and take advantage of our ability to move? I think about that every now and then. It's like a billionaire could have all that wealth, but there's probably a number of them who want to just be healthy. And many of us do have health, and it's something to not take for granted and to appreciate it in life. Appreciate it before it's not there any longer. Yeah, I saw this huge woodchuck the other day. We have this big brush pile that eventually, like every 2 years or so, we light as this big bonfire. And this woodchuck was just moving around in it, just chilling. And so I thought that was what that noise was earlier. I haven't quite been in nature this week as much as past weeks, like intentionally. In the past I would go on like walks in the woods every morning, or just be in the woods and read a book. This week I just feel like I've been on the computer a little too much. So let's think of something. If we feel we're on our phones too much, computer screens too much, what's something we can do to kind of refreshen ourselves, our mindset, and kind of ground us back to the world? Something I wrote in my notes recently is, the internet is fake. I shouldn't say fake. The internet isn't real. It's images portraying reality. There's a step of removal from reality. And so the internet can sort of be like a spectacle in a sense. And when we think about it, it'd be silly for something that's not real to agitate us, affect us, disturb our being. We should let the in-person stuff do that. So what's something we can do to center ourselves after interacting with technology for a long while? Interacting technology with screens. But my back feels pretty good. Pretty good now. Well, on the pain scale, it's probably at a 2 or 3. It was right up there at like 8 or 9. And something I noticed when I was in Chicago, it was hurting during the day. And then when I recorded with my friend Sunchit, I felt like healed. Like right before the conversation, I was in pain, like 7 or 8. And then afterwards, it went down to like a 3. And I think that's the power of human connection, power of friendship, power of laughter, power of just being in another's presence. I was thinking about it. We were in Humboldt Park, and there's kind of this lagoon. We were at the boathouse, or close to it. We were in a park, on a park bench, but there was a boathouse next door, or close by. Real majestic looking one, you know, like a turn of the century, 20th century. And I just sat there at the lagoon, over the water. The moon was right above the boathouse. And it was pretty cool. Just relaxing and grateful for the lack of pain I was experiencing. Yeah, health. I think back about times in life where I felt really stressed, and it really, that like stress and psychological unwellness, mental health, whatever, it took a toll physically. And I think now, if I knew some of these techniques that we're doing now, the breathing, the just being still, the kind of removing ourselves from ourselves and looking at it more objectively and posing questions and getting to the source of problems and issues, it would have been really beneficial at the time and when I was younger. It's helpful. It's important that in life we're able to kind of see life in front of us and our interaction within it, and be able to not critique but understand why we're doing certain things, and be able to kind of back up from it and address deeper issues. Oftentimes, something that happens or an effect is not what's happening. It's like there's something further to it. So we can do that with these questions and the ability to kind of pause in life, be still and approach it that way. All right, so this next song, or this next question, what's a song you're listening to on repeat recently? I asked this last week. Do you have a different one this week? I've been listening to Celia Cruz, La Vida es un Carnaval. I had so much fun this last weekend. I was writing fiction, and in this scene for the book, it takes place on the rooftop of the Virgin Hotel in New York City. And so this character, so the main character is out there talking to a software engineer who works at Apple, but his friend is DJing, and she's playing that song, which is a song that a friend of mine DJ'd. She was DJing, and that song really like stuck with me. Celia Cruz, La Vida es un Carnaval. It's so festive. I love it. So energy lifting. So what's a song you're listening to on repeat recently? And kind of with that, with the next question, how do you organize the music you listen to? Something I do with photos, and I'm starting to do it more with music, or I've noticed I've sort of have done it before, but I start with the year and then the season. So right now, I just started a playlist called 2024 Fall. And, a few months ago, we had one 2024 Summer. So then when we're able to look back or look for inspiration or we want to feel a certain way, we can go back to those playlists. I use Spotify. But with music, with photos, I do that too. 2024 Summer, 2024 Fall now. And separate it that way. Photos and music, they certainly have that ability to connect us to times and experiences, wouldn't you say? So how do you go about organizing that? It's good for, I think when we do it that way, it's good for us personally, but if we're sharing the playlist, then we might want to be more descriptive or, have a little bit more force behind it. Like when I was bartending late nights, I had this party playlist, like songs from like 2008 to 2015. It was called Bangers Are Us, like Toys R Us. Very popular. Or like Good for Grooves. It had like a lot of groovy vibes. So it's more descriptive, So people that like it, they can find it easier, things like that. I don't know if we asked this question last week, but it's a question that I've given to potential podcast guests, and that's, what's your ideal morning look like? And then try to have our mornings replicate that more daily. Let's see what some other questions are. Yeah, your ideal morning on your best day. Like, what does the morning look like on your best day? Wherever you live right now, what is the most talked about subject, most talked about topic that is on everybody's mind and people are verbalizing? I think that's a good question. It localizes things more, and I think if you had a compilation of various locations and what they're talking about, I think it would be really interesting to look at each one and kind of compare what are the biggest issues. Something that comes to my mind is when I've been out west or in the Southwest. So like times I've been in Denver, or a couple of years ago when I was in Vegas and Arizona, water scarcity is a big topic. Water scarcity. And in the Midwest, that's never talked about. So that's interesting to me. I remember the first time it came up, I was like, what? Water scarcity? I remember that day. It was 2015, and I was on a bike ride with a friend, and we rode. He had an extra bike. I rode his bike like 15 miles, and we were at this like restaurant, brewery or whatever, and they wouldn't serve me a beer because my ID was vertical. It didn't matter that I was 21 or it was real. I must have been 25 at the time. And everybody else was drinking a beer. I just wanted a beer after, a 15-mile bike ride. But because my ID was vertical from Illinois at the time, it was declined and I wasn't served. And it was at that moment, at that table, when we were talking, water scarcity came up. It blew my mind. And then on the 50 miles back, bike riding, there was a thunderstorm. And it was lightning, and I was terrified. And we hid under a bridge, I believe, for the storm to pass. And you get in, it's just like soaking wet, just drenched in water. And that shower felt so good afterwards. Never forget that shower. I just love kind of that stuff of how regions have different, how like the geography affects the topics that come up and the things that people care about and what they're interested in. I was asked about Denver yesterday, actually. I said, if you like the outdoors, it's a great place. People who live in Denver, I feel like, want to be there. They're there because they want to be there, and there's the draw is the Rocky Mountains, and being, a 30-minute drive or 30 miles right from the foot of the mountains is pretty cool. And then the views, man. And the people are great there. Yeah, it's interesting though. What is something you appreciate about the culture of your region? Yeah, some good biking out there in Colorado. It's kind of fascinating too how Colorado has this pretty highly regarded reputation as a state, but say like Nebraska or Wyoming don't quite have that. I guess in Colorado there's just a wide variety of things to do, people, culture, beauty. I've never skied there. It's a big thing. A woman I dated, she lives in New York during the spring and fall, and then winter and summer she lives in Denver. I like that, the ability to kind of design how you want to live life and the things you're interested in. If you're interested in skiing, golly, Denver's a great place to live. Colorado's a great place to live. Just outdoorsy sports, things like that. I envision spending time in warm areas. In the winter/spring, kind of getting out of the Midwest. But the Midwest is great for Other seasons, we have fall coming up, quite beautiful. Summer, beautiful. Not too hot here. I look at some of the temperatures in like southern cities, and it's hot. And it gets up there. But where would you design? Like, what are some places, geographical places that you're interested in, that you would like to spend more time in? And then perhaps make an effort to be there, to schedule time. Something I've kind of realized throughout the years is you can't go everywhere, travel everywhere, and still have like a stable place to call home. You can't have both. And so when I was younger, I would see a lot of people just like nomadically just traveling, but if you do that, you don't develop a connection with a particular space, like a more rooted experience. And there's always somewhere else to travel to experience. So within the shortness of one's human life, the decision needs to be made of like, do I want to check out every place, or do I want to just like find what I like and just spend time there, do that, and then, you know, kind of build a relationship with it or a connection with it and go back there and like hang out there. I'm more with that alignment. And so like Miami is a place I really enjoy. I've gone there every year for the past 4 years. And I love it. I love the culture, the people, the weather, of course. I love the energy, the vibrance, it's just like got some magic to it. We were watching the Buffalo Bills Miami Dolphins game last night. And so that came up. What's Miami like? Magical. So what's a place for you that, you know, you think you would be able to kind of groove in, or you know, spend time there, like move there as a family, spend time there, vacation there, like kind of modular. I'm really pro modularity. I think if you want to, you can design your life that way. I think you can really maximize your joy, your enjoyment of life, and enrich your experience through modularity. And that's something I don't know. Of course, it was doable in the past, but the 21st century and the technology we have, I just feel like it's the mobility has increased so much. All right, last question. What are we energized for next week? Pretty soon it'll be fall. Got psyched out last week. I did not enjoy those mornings. It's a lot colder. Summer got a second wind, and I appreciate that. Good looking out. Yeah, what electrifies you? What electrifies us? What just, really gets us stimulated, feeling moved, It's important in life to find out something that gets us to feel that way, or someone especially. Electrify me. Yeah. Well, that has been our weekly guided reflection session. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you taking the time to put in effort into your life and want more out of life, and also increase your ability to help other people around you, because you yourself will be a higher level human being through doing these things. It's great. I love it. Thank you for being here. Inspire the future.